$1,000 bounty on Bovino on Snapchat. His defense claimed that he had roughly $20 in his bank account and that the message was sent as a joke, saying he was repeating neighborhood gossip.
Now to the forecast, and it is no joke. We are talking about a seriously cold next couple of days. This just looks cold, Emily, but it's going to get even colder, right?
It is going to get so much colder here. Just within the next few hours, we're going to see those temperatures dropping very rapidly. So currently, a lot of us have temps that are still in the 20s, but wind chill temperatures are dropping down into the single digits. Tonight, however, actual air temperatures are going to be dropping down to about 10 degrees below zero, and we're going to have really gusty winds as well. So that's sending wind chill temperatures as low as 30 to 40 degrees below zero late tonight and then through midday tomorrow. So for that reason, across northeastern Illinois, where we're going to see the most extreme wind chills, again, as close to minus 40, that's an extreme cold warning that is going to be going into effect 3 a.m., lasting through noon tomorrow. For those of you in northwest Indiana, you have a cold weather advisory that's going into effect at 3 a.m., lasting until 9 a.m. Saturday. So this is going to be a multi-day event. In northeast Illinois, we're going to see that extreme cold warning expiring tomorrow at noon and then being replaced with a cold weather advisory. But bottom line here, no matter if you're in the advisory, the warning, it's going to be dangerously cold. Be prepared for wind chills as low as 30 to 40 degrees below zero. That's what we're going to be waking up to tomorrow morning. And then by noon tomorrow, we're still looking at wind chills around 30 below. On top of that, we have accumulating snow in the forecast now this weekend. Those details coming up.
Well, the dangerous temperatures forcing CPS to cancel school tomorrow. School officials say there will be no e-learning or extracurricular activities and events. Other schools have already canceled classes as well. For a full list of school closures, visit our website, fox32chicago.com.
And as we brace for tomorrow's brutal cold, it's not just the people feeling the chill. Trees could be in trouble.
You may have heard about it on social media, but can trees really explode in the extreme cold? Casey Cronus is live in Glencoe with what we are learning. Casey.
Hey, Dawn and Scott. Well, this phenomenon is caused by a drastic change in temperatures. And arborists say when it does happen, it can even sound like a gunshot. The technical term is frost crack, and it looks like this. Take a look. For it to happen, conditions have to be just right. When moisture and sap inside the tree freezes during plummeting temps, pressure can build, sometimes leading to a break. Certain trees, especially those with smooth bark, are more susceptible. Here at the Chicago Botanic Garden, several sycamores have been cracked for years. Tom Tiddens finds it to be a fascinating quirk of Mother Nature.
I saw this first one happen about 15 years ago, and it's like an annual thing. As soon as we get the first prediction of a night going down to zero, I'm out the next day taking a look at it, because once this happened, it is causing a flaw in the tree, and it's a little bit concerning. Does this mean I need to take down the tree? No, but it means I need to keep a little bit of a close eye on it.
Tiddens says that the split can essentially create an avenue for insects and decay, but it typically closes as we approach summer, reopening again each winter. If you have questions about how to protect your plants or trees this winter, the Lenhart Library and Plant Information Service here at the Garden can help. Reporting live in Glencoe, Casey Cronus, Fox Chicago.
Emergency rooms are getting ready for frostbite and hypothermia cases.
Terrence Lee talked with a doctor today about how to stay safe out there.
Yeah, and he put it quite plainly, Dawn and Scott, this cold isn't new, but if everyone already had it figured out, ER visits wouldn't spike every time it gets like this. So a lot of this will sound familiar, but it's helpful and useful. Your body starts making moves before you even realize you're in trouble. When it gets this cold, your body goes straight into protect mode. It sends blood to your core first. Your fingers, toes, and ears get less. Less blood means less feeling, so you go numb early. Cold slows your nerves down too, which means pain shows up late. And the whole time, your body burns way more energy just trying to hold heat. Dr. Chris Colbert says most people who end up in the ER after cold exposure have one thing in common.
Playing the Monday morning quarterback, I would have worn a bigger coat. I would have worn a better jacket. Some of the things that we see, it's the quick trips. It's the, hey, I know it's cold outside, but I'm just going to go take out the trash real quick. Or I know it's cold outside. I'm just going to run up the street and get a lottery ticket. Or I'm going to go up the street and get a Mountain Dew. And so you're not dressed well.
Doctors say most cases happen when people stay out too long, get numb, and don't notice, or wear clothes that can't handle sweat and heat loss. So Dr. Colbert says wear layers that stay dry. Skip cotton, cover your hands, feet, and head every time you go out. He went through more advice and busted some myths as well. You can check that out on fox32chicago.com. Scott.
All right, Terrence, thanks for that. Vice President J.D. Vance in Minneapolis today amid tensions over the presence of ICE there.
He called on protesters to stop resisting their enforcement efforts and for local lawmakers to work with them.
There are a lot of things that all of us could do better to lower the temperature, but the number one thing that I learned today is that the best way to facilitate reasonable enforcement of the law, but also to lower the chaos in Minneapolis, would be for state and local officials to cooperate.
His visit comes as DHS has reportedly issued a memo authorizing agents to forcibly enter homes without a judge's warrant. Some legal experts say that violates the Fourth Amendment. In an interview today, Vance said the administration would discipline officers who make mistakes. Earlier this month, Vance said officers have, quote, absolute immunity.
State of Illinois investigating claims that ICE agents involved in a massive South Shore apartment raid last fall may have been tipped off by the building's landlord. The investigation centers on whether immigration agents targeted the apartment in an effort by building management to remove people of color from the property. ICE agents stormed the apartment last September in a massive show of force that included a Black Hawk helicopter. By morning, 37 Venezuelan nationals were arrested, while several American citizens were detained against their will.
This was a major military-style operation in the middle of the night with helicopters landing on the roof and many residents, including non-immigrants, that were detained and affected. And it appears and we're concerned that potentially the landlord provided information to federal agents that told them about which units to target.
Now, under the state's Immigrant Tenant Protection Act, the landlord can be sued for injuries or losses suffered by tenants. Now to a follow-up on Bally's move to push back the opening of its new casino in River West.
They were supposed to open this fall, but there have already been delays.
Yeah, Brett Bragansky live in River North. Brett, so with those delays, Bally's now requesting more time to operate there, right?
Yeah, that's certainly the case here. And just to go back here, they've been at the former Medina Temple since September of 2023, and the city of Chicago expected them to be here for 3 years, but it looks like they may not be leaving anytime soon. You also have to keep this in mind. Their gaming license expires this September, but just 1 week ago today, State Representative Cam Buckner filed a bill that would extend the temporary license for Bally's for possibly another year. So that could put them here at the temporary location in River North until September of next year. So I've reached out to Bally's about this bill and the timeline of the construction at the permanent location. I'm still waiting to hear back. Now, we have reported on 2 different construction delays. One this past May, the other in December of 2024. And both of those incidents ended up pushing the project back weeks. Now, Alderman Brian Hopkins told us he had questions since he was told there were only slight delays at the permanent location and that they were doing some interior work. But Alderman Hopkins still feels the temporary and the permanent casinos were a mistake.
They tell me the construction is only slightly delayed. I don't know exactly what that means. They're doing interior work now, so it's not visible to the external eye. I don't have a lot of confidence that they will open on time, but they're saying now they think they can, and they're also saying they have additional capital that they're going to infuse, even though they're struggling elsewhere. Again, on behalf of Chicago, I have to hope that they're telling us the truth.
Now, we've also reported on some security issues. Just a few weeks ago, there was an armed robbery at the parking garage across the street that Bally's uses. There was also an employee who got beat up and robbed inside the bathroom. And we've also had a former employee come to Fox Chicago to say that there were also security issues inside when he was a dealer and that there were fights on the casino floor. Of course, you can see all those stories at our website, fox32chicago.com. But for now, we are live in River North tonight. Brett Bragansky, Fox Chicago.
We'll still head on the news at 5. Indiana taking another step to get the Bears to make the move across state lines.
Also tonight, Senator Dick Durbin now back from Denmark amid President Trump's push to take over Greenland.
And there's a new program in Cook County supporting families before, during, and after pregnancy. Indiana lawmakers are making moves in their quest to lure the Bears to the state.
State has been taking steps ever since the Bears announced that they were planning on expanding their stadium search last month.
Paris Schutz spent the day at Wolf Lake in Hammond, Indiana, a site emerging as the favorite in the Hoosier State.
The Indiana State Senate passed a bill out of committee that would create the Northwest Indiana Stadium Commission with the purpose of purchasing land and financing at least part of a brand new stadium in the northwest corner of the Hoosier State. And sources close to the Bears say that Wolf Lake in Hammond, right across the border of Illinois and Chicago, is emerging as the front runner. We did see site surveyors on behalf of the team out checking out the land. There's 300 acres here. It currently houses a golf course, a driving range, a clubhouse, and a concert pavilion. And Hammond Mayor Tom McDermott says all of this is fair game for the Bears to build on.
It's up to the Bears, really.
It's up to the Bears, yeah.
If they say we want to put the stadium right on top of your clubhouse, they could have it.
Right here.
I would prefer them
Tear
not
this
to.
beautiful clubhouse down.
I would prefer them not to, but this is a monumental type of change we're talking about. I mean, I'd be incredibly lucky if we were chosen by the Bears. So, you know, this is like a blank.
You're like, have at it.
This is a blank canvas for them if they want to come here.
And then, like, you got all this industry here, though.
Yeah.
Is that going to be an impediment?
I don't think it will be. I'll be honest. I think we could probably work with the owners. I'm sure BP would be willing to work with us, and we could free up hundreds of acres over there. And, you know, this is all doable.
McDermott says that the state legislature might come up with a specific proposal, including financing, within the next few weeks, which means Illinois lawmakers will also have to get moving on their proposal. And we'll have a lot more with the mayor of Hammond tonight at 10 on the Chicago Report. Reporting from Wolf Lake in Hammond, Indiana, Paris Schutz, Fox Chicago.
Other news we're following tonight, the family of a 12-year-old girl patted down by a Joliet police officer is now suing.
Who the patted my daughter down?
I did, ma'am.
Why the did you pat my daughter down? She's 12, and she's a minor. Call her parent.
That is a mother, Nayaka Jones, who showed up to a traffic stop when her daughters called her on February 18, 2024. They said they were pulled over for suspended registration on the way to visit their grandmother. In the video, an officer is seen patting down her 12-year-old daughter. The Cochran law firm has now filed a federal lawsuit against the city of Joliet on the Jones family's behalf. Their attorney says the department has acknowledged that the search violated policy and the officer has been disciplined.
She's developed separation anxiety. She don't want me to go anywhere. She can't stay focused. I have to keep her busy.
When we asked the city of Joliet to sit down and talk to us about the concerns of the family, they refused. They ignored us. They acted like frisking a 12-year-old girl was no big deal. But it's a big deal to the Jones family, and it's a big deal to our law firm. The 12-year-old did not pose a threat to anyone. The police protect us, they serve us. And when the police serve us legally and appropriately, we should applaud them and we should support them. Likewise, when the police get it wrong, and they got it wrong in this particular case, then we need to hold them to account.
The attorney says they don't believe anyone should have been searched at all, especially the minor. We reached out to Joliet police. They say the department is unable to comment on pending litigation.
Senator Dick Durbin has just returned from his trip to Denmark. He was there this past weekend looking to ease tensions over Greenland. Today he spoke at the Chicago Council on Global Affairs, urging world leaders to continue protecting Denmark and other NATO allies. It all comes as President Trump is now backing away from tariff threats to NATO members who oppose any takeover of the country.
Fellow Danish and Greenlandic legislators implored us to explain what was going on there. There was a sense of anger as well as pain to think that the United States might in fact invade Greenland or some other entity in an effort for President Trump to take control of that country. We assured them that the overwhelming majority of Americans oppose the Trump strategy in Greenland.
Now heading to Washington to meet with lawmakers about strengthening those alliances.
Illinois is facing more federal funding threats over its abortion laws. U.S. officials are targeting a state law that requires providers refer patients to abortion services. They say it violates 2 federal laws. This is the latest move in a series of threats from the Trump administration against the state. Illinois has 30 days to comply with federal requests before funds would be officially cut.
On the eve of Maternal Health Awareness Day, Cook County is launching a new program. It's aimed at saving lives.
It's called Healthy Beginnings, and county leaders say it tackles one of the most preventable health crises we face. Tia Ewing is here with more.
They really point to the statistics here, Dawn and Scott. In Cook County and across Illinois, most pregnancy-related deaths are considered preventable. Now, a new county-wide program is stepping in earlier and staying longer to change those outcomes. Now, here's the question. How often do you hear free in health care? Well, this program is, regardless of income or insurance status. It offers support to families before, during, and after pregnancy. There's prenatal and postpartum education, help managing chronic conditions like high blood pressure and diabetes, guidance on newborn care, and connections to essentials like housing, nutrition, transportation, mental health services, and doulas. Cook County officials say the need is really great, pointing to statistics showing Black women are 2 to 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related complications than white women, largely due to systemic barriers, bias, and lack of early care. State data shows nearly 90% of pregnancy-related deaths in Illinois could be prevented.
This initiative moves beyond reports, recommendations, and statistics and delivers real solutions on the ground. Healthy Beginnings connects families with public health nurses before, during, and after pregnancy, providing consistent, trusted support at the moments that it matters most. This program offers care, guidance, and follow-through during one of the most important and vulnerable times in a family's life.
The program prioritizes communities with the highest maternal and infant health risk. On that list, Cicero, Berwyn, Oak Lawn, Arlington Heights, and Calumet City. Families can sign up directly through the Cook County Department of Public Health or through a health care provider. Scott?
All right, Tia, thanks for that. Some disappointing news for everybody that was hoping to be freezing for a reason this weekend. The polar plunge this year canceled because the cold is just too dangerous. Organizers are, of course, heartbroken. But, of course, safety is first. They still plan to celebrate their fundraising success at an after-party Saturday afternoon.
All right, let's check in with Emily. Tell us what you were saying about frostbite.
Yeah, so actually with temperatures as cold as they're going to be tonight into early tomorrow, which is going to be plummeting to about 10 degrees below zero, wind chills as low as 30 to 40 degrees below zero. frostbite can actually occur in as little as 10 minutes. So it's not surprising to hear that that plunge was canceled there, because again, it's life-threatening at this point. We have to be very, very cautious if we're going to be out and about. If you do have to be out and about tomorrow morning, make sure you're taking all of the precautions. I'm talking head to toe, even for those of you that walk to work. I know a lot of the schools are closed at this point, but even just having your cheeks out, your nose out for 10 minutes, again, you could be at risk of frostbite. Right now, we have temperatures in the teens and 20s. Wind chills are already beginning to drop into the single digits. Here's where we're headed, though. So wind chills tonight going as low as 30 to 40 degrees below zero. That's what we're going to be waking up to tomorrow. And by midday, wind chills aren't much better. They're still going to be feeling right around 25 to 35 degrees below zero. 5-day forecast, high of 0 degrees tomorrow. We have accumulating snowfall in your forecast Saturday and Sunday, and temperatures, they're going to remain cold even into early next week. Back to you.
Let's welcome in 674 Lawrence Holmes. You know, I like that Ryan Poles even brought up the fans yesterday, because he said he was getting texts from family members when they would land at O'Hare, seeing all the Bears gear around the airport. And he's like, you know, we don't often acknowledge that part of this job when they're in the front office, when they're on the coaching staff. But he said, like, part of their job is to inspire a fan base and inspire a community. And I think it's okay to show that human side when you are on the team. Like, that's part of the totality of what it's like to be a Chicago Bear, especially in a city like Chicago, that, as we saw, it was on display this entire season. When the Bears are good, this city is so different. And so I actually appreciated that he acknowledged the difference that they made in the community.
I've talked to people that say when the Bears are good, Chicago is the best city in the world.
Yeah.
Like, that's how powerful it can be when the Bears are good. The Packers game, I had so many friends from around the country, folks that I hadn't talked to in years, text me because they were up watching the game. And the Bears have leaned into that, as they should. The sleeping giant part of the Bears as an organization is not just the fact that it's a franchise that's close to, you know, $10 billion or whatever. Part of it is that fan base is so rabid. People care. That's what we saw over the last couple of weeks, where even after they lose the playoff game to the Rams, Bears fans are there. They are giving the team a standing ovation. And that connection, you know how I know that it means a lot? Because the next 2 days, Caleb Williams was out here in these streets, and he was feeling that love at the Blackhawks game, and he was feeling that love at the Bulls game. And the love of Bears fans is undeniable. And for the Bears organizationally to get to that place is a great first step for Ben Johnson.
Across America's up next. We're going to take you to Florida, where an IVF clinic's being sued.
A couple is claiming the mother gave birth to the wrong baby. That story and more when we come back.
Who here is our next?
A couple in Florida is suing an IVF clinic. They claim a doctor implanted the wrong embryo, resulting in the mother giving birth to somebody else's baby.
Lawyers for the victims are seeking an injunction against the center. The request states that it was clear the couple's baby girl born in December was a different ethnicity from her birth parents. Genetic testing later confirmed it. Legal experts say the child's legal parents are the genetic mother and father and not the couple that actually gave birth to her. But a fertility expert says the strong bond cited in the complaint between the birth mother and baby makes this case even more heartbreaking.
Believing that it's your child naturally would lead you to be more attached from day one. And now all of a sudden they realize this is not their genetically linked child. So it's got to be very devastating for them.
The couple wants the center to notify all the other patients because they believe the baby should legally and morally be with her genetic parents. The couple is also worried that another person may be pregnant with or raising one or more of their own embryos or children.
Caught on camera, some tense moments for a highway patrol trooper and deputy. Check it out. That was a close call. They jumped out of the way. I mean, a split second before that car came barreling by, hitting, as you saw right there, their cruiser and then spinning out of control. They had the lights on, as you could see, wearing reflective vests. Amazingly, nobody was hurt.
A group of teens in New York is disconnecting from social media and connecting with senior citizens. Once a month, they offer makeovers, crafts, and conversations to seniors in assisted living communities. The seniors love it, and the students say it's way more than beauty. It's about belonging.
So I was already pretty, so it's a little bit more.
I love what I do. It's really a blessing.
It's a privilege to be able to bring happiness to other people's grandmas the way I want to bring it to mine.
Well, it all started more than 20 years ago. The nonprofit now has more than 100 chapters across the country.
Okay, still ahead tonight. We've been talking about the cold. It's going to be so cold tomorrow, they're changing train schedules.
Yes, this is the first time Metro has had to do it in more than 6 years. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Take 5.
Now at the bottom of the hour, an open Illinois congressional seat is confronting his controversial past.
Well, okay, it wasn't warm out today. Of course it wasn't, but this is nothing compared to the dangerous cold that's moving in tomorrow.
First, a historic church in south suburban Ford Heights was heavily damaged by fire last night.
This is the True Light Temple of Praise. It is nearly 60 years old.
Leslie Moreno joins us live there as the church is now asking for the community's help to get back on their feet. Leslie.
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, behind me is all that's left of this church, a heartbreaking sight for this community who just celebrated the church's 58th anniversary. Fire officials say crews battled that fire for several hours yesterday. Take a look, Sky Fox over the scene just before 3 o'clock. You can see True Light Temple of Praise in the 1600 block of Drexel Avenue there. The church fully engulfed in flames. Pastor James Morgan says when crews arrived, flames were already pushing through the roof. He says conditions became so dangerous that crews had to pull back and eventually the roof collapsed. He says 2 maintenance workers who were inside had to escape on their own. Pastor Morgan says what's even more devastating is that they were almost done with renovations where they spent tens of thousands of dollars trying to revitalize the building.
I said it before, my heart is in my stomach, you know, to see that my building is not here, or I just can't go turn the key any time of the day to walk in to go clean up. I spend a lot of time in this church, you know, times when I wasn't even at home doing nothing, I was here, you know, so to not be able to do that is really hurtful. It's like it's still unbelievable to me right now. Still unbelievable, and I'm looking at it, you know.
Fire officials say the cause of the fire is still under investigation. If you'd like to help the church get back on their feet, we have all those details on fox32chicago.com. For now, reporting live here in Ford Heights, Les Moreno, Fox Chicago.
And a reminder for anyone who rides the train, tomorrow both Metra and the South Shore Line are reducing service because of the cold. Metra is going to be running on an alternate severe weather schedule. It's similar to the service offered on Saturdays and Sundays. All stops will still happen. There will just be fewer trains and they will move slower. We spoke with a Metra spokesperson on Chicago Live who tells us this is the first time Metra has had to do this since the polar vortex in 2019.
We have had other polar vortexes since then, but because of COVID and reduced schedules, it wasn't as necessary. So after 2019, we really looked at it because it's great to promise people service, but you need to be able to deliver. Our goal is to be reliable. And if you put a bunch of trains out there and one of them has a problem because of the weather, then you basically, everything stacks up behind. We end up people stuck on trains. We also are leaving people out in the cold.
The South Shore Line is also making changes tomorrow, running a weekend holiday schedule.
Can't think of a better segue. Hasn't been this cold for them to do this in 6 years, Emily. So clearly, if that's not a warning bell for everybody, I don't know what is.
Yeah, we're really going to be feeling the effects of it. So tonight we'll have actual air temperatures dropping down to about 10 degrees below zero, but we're still counting on winds that are going to be gusting as high as about 30 miles per hour. And with temperatures near 10 below, it makes a huge difference. So all across northeastern Illinois, we do have an extreme cold warning that's going into effect at 3 a.m., lasting until noon, and that's for wind chills as low as 30 to 40 degrees below zero. For those of you in northwest Indiana, you have a cold weather advisory beginning at the same time. That's 3 a.m., and that's actually going to last all the way until 9 a.m. on Saturday. And for northeast Illinois, when that warning expires at noon tomorrow, it will then be replaced with a cold weather advisory as well. So what you can take away from this is that we have cold weather headlines beginning tonight, lasting until Saturday morning for dangerously cold conditions. Again, wind chills as cold as 30 to 40 degrees below zero. Actual air temps tonight, 10 below. We only rebound to about 0 degrees tomorrow. And then Saturday and Sunday, we now have accumulating snowfall in your forecast for this weekend. Those details coming up.
Thanks, Emily. There is an open Illinois congressional seat, and nearly a dozen people are vying for it.
In an exclusive report, we're sitting down with one of the candidates who's addressing his controversial past.
Fox 32.
Tonight, a Fox Chicago exclusive, we've learned that a candidate running for an open Illinois congressional seat has a charge of domestic violence in his background.
But Democratic State Senator Willie Preston says it should not disqualify him for running for Congress. He and his wife sat down with Dane Placco.
I'm Willie Preston, and I was born and raised on the south side of Chicago.
Illinois State Senator Willie Preston is one of 11 Democrats running to fill Robin Kelly's open congressional seat. But he says he's not running away from his past.
I made one of the biggest mistakes of my life. It happened. It was an isolated incident. It happened one time. I slapped my wife.
Preston talked to us with his wife at his side, then his girlfriend, when she called the police on him in 2010.
My mom was a survivor of domestic abuse. I would never allow that to happen to me, you know? And so after—
Which is why you called the police.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
According to a report obtained by Fox Chicago, police responding to a disturbance at the North Riverside Mall found Preston, Bailey, and their 3 young children exiting the mall. Bailey was crying, the officer writing that Preston accused Bailey of being unfaithful and slapped her on the right side of her face with his open left hand. Bailey stated while she was walking, Preston reached out and began to choke her on the back of her neck from behind. Bailey entered Sears to try to remain safe, where Preston entered the doors and slapped her a second time with his right open hand on the left side of her face. Preston was charged with domestic battery, telling police, "I know I put my hands on her, now I gotta pay."
I knew at the moment I did it that I was wrong, and I took accountability immediately behind it.
But that's something that was 16 years ago. Since then, we have come so far with therapy and with counseling, with additional guidance.
I'm grateful for my wife sticking with me. You know, if my wife hadn't stuck with me, I don't know where my life would be right now.
Since that time, the couple have married and had 3 more children. But Preston says he understands raising his political profile also invites scrutiny of his past, which he recently revealed at a meeting of domestic abuse survivors.
I did something I'm not proud of. I slapped my wife. I went to jail. The next day she came and bonded me out. For far too often, men hide behind silence, behind shame. And I just can't stand here in good consciousness and not admit what I have been a part of.
Is something like this potentially disqualifying for a political candidate?
Well, look, if it's disqualifying to some people, I respect that. For me, it's not. I think this election we're not just in a Me Too era, we're in an affordability era. We're in an era where people want authentic politicians.
But this recent campaign commercial featuring an endorsement from Cook County Clerk Monica Gordon may hit the wrong way, given Preston's past.
Hi, I'm Cook County Clerk Monica Gordon. I am proud to be in the ring with Preston for Congress.
To lower property taxes. Regrets? Oh no. It's the best commercial in this political cycle. And again, it encompasses everything that this campaign stands for. It was authentic because I am the fighter in this congressional campaign.
A fight his wife says she fully supports.
This is something that I am doing willingly because I believe in him and I know that he's the right man for the job.
This is my partner, and that one moment where I did something that I regretted immediately is not who I am.
Preston has received endorsements from a number of Chicago area political leaders and unions, but it's unclear whether they were aware of the domestic violence charge. Preston says he intends to stay in the race. Dane Placco, Fox Chicago News.
Well, that dangerous cold is starting to move in, and it's sticking around for a while.
Emily is keeping a close eye on the temperature. She has more in her full forecast after the break.
I'm Cass Carlson. Up next in sports, the latest on Josh Giddey's potential return to the Bulls tonight and how a major trade in the NL Central makes the Cubs offseason even better. Plus, the Bears will look different in 2026, how they plan to manage some difficult decisions in free agency now that they're contenders.
Nothing beats a Chicago sunrise.
Well, ComEd certainly preparing for the extreme cold this weekend. The company will have 24-hour staff and generators on standby to help with any power outages. To keep warm, they recommend you clear the areas around your vents and seal any cracks around windows and doors. They also say you can take advantage of natural light during the day for a little extra warmth.
I feel bad for anyone who has to go and climb a pole and try to fix.
Oof.
Oh, I know. You know, I've been thinking about all the careers of people that are outside. There's a ton of them, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, when you think about days like tomorrow, I don't know how you all do it, but, you know, kudos to you and we need you. All right, let's talk about all the weather alerts. So across northeastern Illinois, we have temperatures tonight dropping down to about 10 degrees below zero, and winds are going to be gusting as high as about 30 miles per hour. So that's going to send wind chills down to about 30 to 40 degrees below zero. So we do have this extreme cold warning that's going into effect at 3 a.m., lasting until noon. And then once that expires tomorrow, that's going to be replaced and kind of transitioned over into a cold weather advisory. Now, for those of you in Northwest Indiana, you have this cold weather advisory going into effect at the same time, 3 a.m. tonight, lasting until 9 a.m. Saturday. So this is going to be a multiple day event where we have dangerously cold conditions. Wind chills as low in Northwest Indiana as about 15 to 35 degrees below zero during this time frame. So whether you find yourself in the advisory or in the warning area, it doesn't really matter. Impacts are going to be about the same, and frostbite can actually set in to any exposed skin in as little as 10 minutes. And that's short enough for folks to be walking to work or walking to the grocery store. We live in an urban area. A lot of us walk outdoors. So make sure you're really taking the precautions. Take care of yourself, cover from head to toe. Now, Futurecast taking us into early tomorrow by 7 a.m. This is what it's going to be feeling like. We'll have wind chill temperatures as low as 30 to 40 degrees below zero, and it's not going to get much better during the day. By noon tomorrow, it's still feeling like 25 to 35 degrees below zero. And then even through the afternoon, notice how these wind chills don't really change all that much. So your high temperatures tomorrow, with your actual air temp, I don't even think they're going to rise above zero. It stays, again, brutally cold all day long tomorrow, and then we're right back at it Friday night and into Saturday as temperatures drop down to about 5 to 10 degrees below zero again. Futurecast taking us throughout this evening and tonight. Skies are going to clear out, and also because of the lack of cloud cover, that's allowing temperatures to drop very quickly. In Northwest Indiana, we do have the chance of seeing some lake effect snow developing. I think it's going to be periodic snow showers. I'm not anticipating any heavy accumulations across Northwest Indiana tomorrow. But then looking ahead to the weekend, the forecast has changed considerably. So now we're likely going to be on the northern edge of that storm system that's impacting the south and the central U.S. And that's going to be bringing possibly snow through the day on Saturday, also lasting into Sunday. But I think most of the time it's going to be a fairly light snow regardless. I think a couple inches of snow, if not several inches of snow, going to fall in some portions of the area. It's too early to talk totals, but just know going into this weekend, as we fine tune that forecast, if you're going to be traveling, if you're going to be on the roads, maybe you have a flight to catch, make sure you're paying attention to those forecast details as they begin to become a little more clear. But at this point, it looks like accumulation is likely. 7-day forecast tomorrow, a high of 0, 9 degrees on Saturday. We'll have that snow Saturday and Sunday. Monday and Tuesday, we're drying things out. Temperatures were up to 20 on Tuesday, but Wednesday and Thursday back into the teens. Back to you.
Well, of course, the future is bright for the Bears now. The offseason figures to be a busy one.
Cassie Carlson joins us with more on what's ahead. Cassie.
Yeah, Ben Johnson put it pretty plain and simple that the Bears are one of 31 teams who fell short, so they're looking ahead now to 2026, and it's going to be much more difficult to get back to where they were this season next year. The Bears have 27 free agents, so the roster will be different, and Ryan Poles saying he doesn't want to make any rash decisions.
I don't think the process changes. You're going to identify the guys that fit what we want in our football team, which Coach hit, and you just keep trying to acquire those players. I think when you see it across the league all the time, you panic and you want to do crazy things that everybody else wants you to do. It leads to some situations that you can't get out of. So we want to stay flexible. We want to stay open-minded. We want to stay committed to building this team the right way, because I think that's the best way to sustain success.
Well, here is what Ryan Poles faces this offseason. No top 10 pick, unlike the last few years. Of those 27 free agents, the most notable are in the secondary with Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker, Nashawn Wright, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. What do the Bears do if they can't keep both Byard and Brisker? Here's 670 The Score's Lawrence Holmes.
Oh, it's so rough. Jaquan Brisker, I thought, one, he stayed healthy all year. Two, you look at the impact that he had in playoff games. Kevin Byard, this is one of your guys. Like, this is him buying into Ben Johnson was significant. And him with a guy that's got that type of resume, him being able to buy in and bring other people along on the buy-in, I think is great. I would probably lean Byard, but it would be very close because Jaquan Brisker, if deployed right, and I think he's in the right defense now, that guy can be an absolute menace.
Yeah, he had his best game of the season against the Rams. Plenty more extended conversation with Lawrence Holmes coming up on Chicago Sports Tonight. Plus, Westwood One's Nick Costas joins us with his best bets for Championship Sunday. That's coming up at 6 on the Fox Local app and 9:30 right here on Fox Chicago. Well, the Bulls are back on the court tonight in Minnesota. Josh Giddey was a full participant in shoot-around today. And moments ago, head coach Billy Donovan said he'll be back in the lineup with a roughly 24-minute restriction. Giddey has missed the last 11 games with a left hamstring strain. The Bulls have gone 6-5 without him in the lineup, and they're currently 9th in the Eastern Conference. Giddey was playing at an all-star level before the injury, tied for second in the NBA in triple doubles this season, and he's averaging close to a triple double, 19 points, 9 assists, and just under 9 rebounds per game. Those are all career highs. A major trade in baseball late last night, the Brewers sending their ace Freddie Peralta along with reliever Tobias Myers to the Mets for 2 prospects. Peralta posted a 2.70 ERA last year, his 3rd straight season of 30-plus starts and 200-plus strikeouts. It's also the 3rd straight offseason where the Brewers have traded one of their top arms to help their farm system. Between this trade and the Alex Bregman signing, the Cubs are considered the favorites to win the NL Central, with the Brewers just behind them. The Cubs have also the 5th best odds of any team to win the National League. Meantime, Bears offensive coordinator Declan Doyle is interviewing for the Eagles' OC job. Defensive backs coach Al Harris interviewing for the Packers and Commanders' DC job, and the Ravens have hired defensive coordinator from the Chargers, Jesse Minter, as their new head coach. Dawn and Scott.
Thank you, Cassie, and great to see you in the building and not at Hallis.
Welcome.
Right.
Welcome back, stranger.
Emily has one final check of the forecast when we come back.
Fox 32 News is brought to you.
People express love in all sorts of ways, and one public exhibition is putting that on display.
Yeah, ahead of Valentine's Day, people can head to Britain's National Archives to look at all types of love letters. The documents span some 5 centuries, many recounting romances from all types of people, from royalty, politicians, even spies.
I think in common they have just this kind of human feeling of love, the real instinct of priority and what's more important, and the sacrifice is actually worth it for love and for their commitment to their partners. So there's a lot of connection in these 2 items, even though on the surface they seem very different and very distinct, and from people from completely different walks of life.
Documents range from romantic classified ads. There's even a medieval song in there. Anyone ever write, any of you 3, a song before?
No.
Nope.
No. But now you can do everything online.
That's true.
I've noticed.
I'm going to write you guys an AI song tonight.
I love it. Okay.
We'll share it.
By the way, Emily,
You'll
I don't
sing it too.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Great idea.
No.
We don't love this weather, is all I was
No, we don't love it at all. So tonight, of course, dangerously cold, 30 to 40 degree below zero wind chills. High temperatures tomorrow near 0 degrees. Wind chills remaining about 25 to 35 degrees below zero all day long tomorrow. And then on Saturday and Sunday, now we're tracking accumulating snowfall, where several inches could fall across the southern and eastern portions of the Chicagoland area. We're back in the teens early next week, but that's still way below average. Average high is 31, and we're not coming close to that in the next week.
Lows. Look at those overnight lows.
I know, they're
terrible.
They're nasty.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us at 5.
Now you can stream us on your smart TV with Fox Local.
We're on all the streaming platforms.
Family Feud is next. We'll see you back here for the news at 9.
We've got a bone to pick with